They're disgusting little vermin. They ruined the third part of the trilogy. They're all cute and furry. And they're constantly turning up in miserable little Japanese video commercials with the other furry one with the glasses. Wookiees. All they are Ewoks who have been thrown out of the Chinese swim team for abuse of anabolic steroids and other things. Jawas, nothing more than little rags. There's that little piece of green fungus called Yoda, who talks backwards and has nothing interesting to say, except for the little whinging boys who prance around in the jungle with them. But Ewoks are my favourite. I enjoy them a great deal. I think that it's a pity that they aren't... Well, there are two sides to it. I would like them all dead, and yet I don't want them dead.
I'm with you, brother! Yeah!
Because the only good thing an Ewok ever produced, apart from a lovely death scene in the middle of Return of the Jedi, which is probably its only saving grace in the entire film, is they're great for mats, you know, for welcome being written on them. They're about the right size, nice and small. The other thing I dislike about Ewoks, those children films, you know, Caravan of Courage. How many little kids probably run around with an American, I want my mummy, all the time. I don't want... What else is there? Ewoks. Well, they're always good drowned or bottled. That's one good thing for them. It's always fun hanging them. They're great for in children. I think they'd make a great little motif for in a kid's nursery. All these hanging Ewoks from the roof. But the one thing I like about Ewoks is ripping them to pieces and doing my Indiana Jones impersonation. But we're not here to talk about what I like. It's more about what I don't like. I have people with guts up because it stenches the place up. But I just can't stand them. I don't think that they should exist. The Star Wars trilogy is a much lesser thing for them. As I said, the third film is a write-off. Most people here would probably turn around and say that they dislike the third film the most out of the whole group. I don't think they should exist. Wookiees. Well, Wookiees. Wookiees. Well, if you've seen those little, you've probably seen the Wookiee version of this. I don't think that they do them any good. Wookiees are, well, as I said, just oversized Ewoks. The scary thing about Wookiees and Ewoks, apart from their furry problems, is people start to like them too much. They're just miserable, incredibly disgusting, smelly. They don't speak English. They don't obey anybody. They just sit around knocking on stormtrooper helmets, playing daft music. It's, well, I just think that they should be stopped. I hope that they don't wind up in the next trilogy. I desperately don't want them to turn up in the next trilogy, or I may have to boycott it. But don't quote me on that, because I still want to look at them. And, well, I think that a lot of younger people would be a lot better off without Ewoks. I mean, they're going to ruin forests doing all of those things with bits of logs and stuff. They shouldn't be allowed to fly, because obviously they just enjoy falling out of the sky. And, well, it's probably better, especially considering that end of Return of the Jedi with the Ewok happy song, is that we tear out their tongues. Because even that second version of it in the special edition didn't do anything for me either. So we'll just, I think they just should, I wish that they would go away. Can we go back? Yeah. Okay, once again, death to them all.
Yeah, brother, yeah!
quiet. She's probably a Wookiee robber too.
You didn't show the roadkill one.
Oh well.
Well, very damning evidence for the creatures
not really.
that walk around in the forests. Well, what can I say about Ewoks except that they have spit out fur balls and shed all over your couch. Anyway, maybe we might be able to find some good things to say about creatures. Those weird things of shapes and sizes. So for the opposing argument, Chris.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is absurd. It shouldn't be allowed.
He's a Wookiee in disguise.
Now,
You made your speech.
my wonderful colleague over here, Miss Pauline Hanson, who made the comment that they don't speak English, so therefore they can't be good.
Deport them all.
Also, if this wonderful colleague over here had his way, grounding things simply because they drop out of the sky, American Airlines would never get off the ground.
Yay! More Qantas. More business for Australian focus.
And Miss Pauline Hanson Jr. next one. Now, the question has raged for
Please
years
explain.
as to the importance of some creatures in the Star Wars universe. Now, I say if they serve no purpose, then they wouldn't have been put there in the first place. Now, think about it. Imagine the Falcon without Chewie. Wouldn't really be the same. Where would the rebels
It'd be less crowded.
Where would the rebels be without the Mon Calamari cruiser, built by the Mon Calamarians? Again, another creature.
Pauline Hanson's fish and chip shop.
Where would the rebels be without the Boffin spies? Another creature. They would not have had the information to attack the Death Star. And what would Han Solo do if he wasn't being chased around the galaxy by Jabba the Hutt, Bosch and Zuckuss? All creatures.
3 years of Princess Leia.
And also try to remember that Luke and Han are two completely different species. Although they're humanoid, they come from two entirely different planets, and therefore could consider themselves to be creatures. Think about it. And where would the rebels be if it wasn't for the Ewoks? Now, how can you possibly hate something as cute as this? Sorry, wrong one.
It's got a little rod.
How could you possibly hate something as cute as that?
Easily.
It's very easy.
Now, the importance of Ewoks in the Star Wars universe can be measured by looking at the amount of screen time allocated to important events in the Star Wars trilogy. The destruction of Alderaan took a total of 7 seconds. That was an entire world of people. The destruction of the first Death Star took up 20 seconds worth of screen time. Thank you. The funeral pyre of Darth Vader, the Dark Lord of the Sith, burning, took 25 seconds. The death of an Ewok was allocated 22 seconds of screen time.
Only because they were...
How important must the Ewok be to the Star Wars universe if you allow 22 seconds worth of screen time? And this simply proves that the Ewoks are an important part of the Star Wars universe. The battle for Endor would have had a completely different outcome. Without the Ewoks, the rebels would never have found the back door to the shield generator, nor would they have been able to distract the guards so easily without Ewok intervention. And if it was not for Ewoks, the legions of troops that the Emperor had sent down and had lying in wait for the rebels would have stopped them, and the shield generator would not have been destroyed, and the Death Star would have survived. In short, the battle for Endor would have been a resounding victory for the Empire, if not for the Ewoks. During the battle for the Endor, the rebels went to the Ewoks and asked them for help. The Ewoks did not ask the rebels to join them.
Kidnap one of them.
And though not a technologically advanced race, you've upset this poor child over here. Not a technologically advanced race, the Ewoks have mastered the art of flight, and they've also devised catapults and battering rams to aid them in battle. These clever, resourceful little creatures, in a matter of seconds, managed to master the complexities of speeder bikes and scout walkers.
Doing sense that 3-year-olds drive cars.
Before they encountered the rebels, the Ewoks didn't even know what the Empire was. But once it was explained to them, they leapt to the fray and decided to join the battle. Many Ewoks laid down their lives for the rebellion. Some people here would cheer when they see an Ewok killed.
Yes!
And when asked why they would like to see all Ewoks killed, the answer is normally the same. Because they're too cute. Now these same people would probably cheer when a puppy gets run over by a car. Would you like us to go out and kill Bambi all over again?
Oh yeah, they
Because
make nice
they're
runs.
too cute.
If it was a small chihuahua, yes. Or maybe a little poodle.
These tiny, furry warriors bested some of the Empire's most sophisticated machinery with only courage and determination to back them up. So when next time you see an Ewok fall in battle, its shattered body lying broken on the forest floor, try to remember these were mighty warriors, brave to the last. Don't imagine them as slippers and fur coats,
Imagine
as
them
some
as
people
a
would.
toasty roadkill.
Remember, they gave their lives for the rebellion. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but it takes Ewoks to crush the Empire.
I'll be
Thank you very much, Chris, for a well-put argument. So maybe your opinions are swaying just a little bit. Maybe those of you that didn't think that those wonderful creatures were that wonderful, maybe have decided to maybe reconsider your judgments. Anyway, in case you had and you need a bit of convincing to go back the other way, we have Emily to speak.
Yay! Come on! I said yay!
I said boo.
All right.
Boo, go on.
Okay.
Yo.
Unlike my colleague here, Darren, I am coming from a scientific view. I'm going to give you the scientific arguments, calm and cool-headed, about why Ewoks and such like should not be allowed to live. One is because they don't have arms. Okay, we've already had the Wookiees on steroids. Now, they have mitts. There's one. Unclean. You know what your dog smells like after 2 days after a bath? Imagine an Ewok. I didn't see one of them ever have a bath. I never saw Chewbacca have a bath either. And he left hair all over the Millennium Falcon. That's what it'd be like if he wasn't there. No cat hair. You know what it's like having cat hair in your underwear? Obviously you don't have a cat, but
Crunchy.
sheds like mine.
But no one in that universe had a bath. Yeah. Except
And they all
Luke.
smell. Luke,
Not really a bath, but he was in
He was in
water,
a bath
so...
tank.
or liquid.
3PO had a bath.
Not
yeah,
in
yeah,
oil.
me too, see?
Oh, great, so you got all these
And we
greasy
never see
robots
anyone on
running
Star
around
Trek go to
there.
the toilet either. Okay,
I'm sure it smells better than the Valhalla.
and we were saying Ewoks may be cute, but they serve no purpose. Evolution shows that these should not have been alive. Their legs are too short. They can't outrun predators. Look,
Imperial
no
Walker can't see
fingers. They've got, oh, this one's got a thumb. I don't even know if it's a thumb. How can they make weaponries, tools, hold anything? Where was I? Short legs and stubby fingers. Technically inept. Technically inept. Just all they deal with is wood. They haven't even got up to the Bronze Age. For God's sakes. I've already said they're cute but useless. And about the time spent on the death of the Ewok in the movie, that was a waste of 22 seconds.
No, it wasn't. They
It was-
put that there to allow for the audience pause to die down.
To allow them to go to the toilet. It also was just done for merchandising, because George Lucas knew by then that this movie would need to sell them pretty bad. So the Ewoks were put in, so we could get some merchandise happening. See, we've got 1, 2, I'm sure there's more, 3, 4. There's another one, bigger version of this one.
Yes, but you bought them.
I was going to sell them.
Hoist on your own guitar.
I just haven't pulled this one apart yet. I made that for Darren too. Okay.
Giblets!
And about the Ewoks helping the rebels. That's because no one had told them the other side of the story. Isn't that how it always works when you get your allies? You just don't tell them what the other side's arguments are.
The Empire is good and friendly, and we love small animals.
Animals, mainly. Now, I've also we decided that the only reason the Ewoks were there is because, first of all, the Empire had blown up the first planet of Endor, so we were now on the moon of Endor, where they kept a breeding program for Ewoks because there is some uses for them, such as sport, like fox hunting, we have Ewok hunting, good eating, whether it's for us or our pets. Still can make good meat on these little chubby bodies. They fall over, they can't get up. like a turtle. Good fur, make coats, rugs and mats, as we've said.
We're
And-
welcome on them.
In other words,
Mate, you're getting this out of me then, Darren.
Soylent Green. It's another good use for
Soylent
Ewoks.
Green is Ewoks.
Oh, God.
We had the children film. Now, one other thing which I think is a big travesty of why Ewoks should not be allowed to live. Some escaped from when they were making the movie in Leavesden, and they mutated over the years. And we now know them as Lala, Po, Tinkly, Winkly and Dipsy. They're Teletubbies. And
I
shouldn't they
can't think
deserve
of
to
any
die?
better reason to wipe them out before they turned into something
They
terrible.
also mutated into these things. So there's another reason for them not to alive. So, now we know Ewoks should not be allowed to live, or at least if they are allowed to live, in selected breeding programs, so they're for sport, for eating, for food. But we should not allow them to have any type of control over us. We are
So
human,
much better than they are.
or at least
Yes,
anyone.
Mr. Hanson.
Friendlier.
Which they should go home so they don't start using our, what is it, doll? I can't think of the words. I'm on it now. Oh my god, I've stuffed it up.
You did that by standing up.
Another use for Ewoks?
Meanie.
Yep, I am. And, yeah, so generally, evolution wouldn't have allowed them to live because their stubby little legs can't outrun predators. They would have been eaten years ago. If it wasn't for George. What was that?
They're very fast.
No, you're not. You saw the making of the movie. They couldn't even stand upright. They kept falling over. So, join us in saying Ewoks should die. Thank you
No.
very much.
Commodore. Let's just swing the argument around the other way, and the final argument for this evening is Glenn. Thank you.
Here we go.
Yay.
Now they've talked about Ewoks being no good and the Wookiees, but who helped destroy the Empire? It wasn't Mrs. Hanson.
What?
It was
Oh, I've got a question
Ewoks,
about that.
Wookiees, and a lot of other creatures.
Obviously, the rebels weren't ready for it.
Why? You say they weren't ready, but they were.
They didn't know they were going to get the Ewoks, did they?
They got lucky. But the Ewoks jumped in at the right time, even though they were small, they were short, and they were very cute.
They're stumpy, ugly, and they...
Let him have his say, come on.
They were very cute.
Let him have his say.
They had the honour, they jumped in there, and they gave the Empire what for.
A little bit of
And of
cursing.
course, the Empire fell down. So what does that go to prove?
Ewoks should live.
That's right! Ewoks are just so much
Give that girl an elephant stamp. Make it an Ewok stamp.
Why don't we just crush her with a walker?
No.
I'm
The
not
Ewoks crushed the walker.
I know, but they wrecked the beautiful forest.
What was the Empire doing there?
Deforestation.
Redeveloping it, bringing in telecommunications, transport,
Very fast trains.
yes, jobs.
No, I don't think so.
Sport.
They were just out there, and it just shows to prove all the animals and different creatures went into beating the Empire. So they were just that much better.
They were misinformed. Formed.
Misinformed? I do not think so. So, the thing is, they were just so much better. So much better. Okay, thank you.
Teletubbies' names.
Aren't you? Oh, look at the resemblance.
Oh, shut up, you.
You are not my father.
No, he's your second cousin.
What a strong argument, because they are. Anyway, do we have any other questions for our panellists here?
No, they don't.
Do we get to some?
I do. Where's Coralie?
No, she isn't
Yeah,
here.
that's a good question.
She's unwell.
Oh.
Somewhere.
And we shall finally have, as a final summary, the concluding arguments for each team. First of all, we'll start off with the furry things are really wonderful. Chris, would you like to sum up, please?
Yes, or something.
Great summing up.
I think it can all be summed up when you look at the basis of the argument over here, which is they're too cute.
Cause.
They're too cute or cos. Now, I mean, because is the sort of thing that a 4-year-old gives you. You know, why did you do that? Well, because.
And they get their way.
Yeah, and I mean, we're obviously dealing with 4 or 5-year-old mentality. And I would like to think that most of the people in this room are above that level. 6-year-old? Okay, well, we're getting there, The argument, of course, that the Ewoks should not have survived through evolution. Obviously, they failed to note that the Ewoks live in trees and in villages in trees and therefore are above the predators.
Good for hanging them.
Bushfire season!
They're above the predators.
No.
They've evolved to the stage where they can get off the forest floor, get away out of reach of bad guys or whatever it might be down on the ground. The Empire is known for a hatred of other species and would do whatever they can to eradicate any alien species. And this includes Wookiees or Ewoks or whatever they might be. Even Jawas, as we've seen.
Basically anything which isn't white.
Anything that isn't white. So,
Hey, what's wrong with you?
so, as I said before, our friends Mr. and Mrs. Hanson over here really have no argument other than they're too cute and they don't speak English. And to me, that's not really a strong enough viewpoint to be eradicating an entire species. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And as John Lennon once almost said, all we're saying is give Wookiees a chance. Anyway, to conclude the argument before we have the final vote, I shall now ask the opposing side, Emily, to give her summary. Thank you.
Darren here is emotionally not disturbed, but
Unstable.
able to. Okay. Now, as I said, they said we didn't really have any arguments. I didn't hear any like really strong ones from you. That they crushed the Empire on one little planet.
It's a good start.
I mean, it depends how you look at this. Some people don't look at what happens after the movies, and so anything could have happened. The Empire keeps going, but we're not necessarily all from the Empire. My colleague here is, as obviously you can see, but I'm not necessarily. Now, we, as I said, pointed out, trying to find the word again.
We should remind you, we talk about Twi'leks as well.
Well, they do have good use.
There's
Not
people
here.
under 18 here, and we can't talk about that.
It's tentacles.
In the scheme of nature, Ewoks should not have lived, I don't believe. Again, legs too short, can't run out predators. They do have to go to the ground at times just to eat their food, get their food. As we've seen, what the hell was wicked going on the ground if they lived in trees? Bushfires would have been wiped out because forests naturally have bushfires just to regrow. Trumpy cube. We can see also that Ewoks were evil because that's where the Teletubbies came from. They're definitely evil. We do have some uses for them, and as we've said, sport, food, welcome mats. And we're not necessarily against them because they're cute. They're just useless. They serve no purpose. The rebels were obviously undersupplied when they went to Endor and wouldn't have won anyhow. If only for these little creatures who were misguided, couldn't even speak English, but they had no idea what they were actually talking about. And how could 3PO know what they were talking about? Because no one had never been to this planet before. And generally science says, no, not have lived. And, well, there you go. They chew all aside now. And that's a very cute Ewok here, Robbie.
Thank you, Emily.
Boo.
Emily's the sort of person that puts the wok in Ewok. Anyway, you've heard the two arguments. Selfless, courageous fighters of the rebels and freedom, freedom-loving but short and persecuted, or simply meat to be thrown and cultivated and useless as hell. We now let you decide which way you would like to vote. Are you pro-creatures or anti-creatures?
Anti-creatures.
Okay, with a show of hands, we would like to see those people that are pro-creatures.
I like to procreate.
Your credits to anybody who votes against them.
20 on 22, we had 23 people.
Yes.
Now, those that would like to express their hate, bitterness, and are anti-creatures.
Yeah!
2,
Hey, we had a double vote up there.
6, 7.
The Ewoks voted too!
Hey, there's
We
more.
have now a decision.
I just
Winners.
came up with another argument.
By a very good majority are the pro-creatures.
Yeah!
Bring them up!
Get her especially. Arrest her immediately.
There will be no appeal.
Detention
The
center for that one.
decision is final.
The judge has spoken.
Let peace and love for fellow humans and little shirt.
Who did that? Ewok fight. Who fight?
And remember, Ewoks are lovable.
No, they're not.
Yay.
Thank you. Good night.
Their hearts feel good in
Thank
their
you.
hands.
Me.